Hey, it's Cornelis from Your Band is a Business. Today I'm going to show you how I refine lyrics and melodies in a song. So this summer I want to go back into the studio to record more music. And the song that I'm going to be discussing today is a candidate to be recorded. It's called Closure, and according to my notes, I finished writing it back in 2018, so that's quite a while ago now. Now, the way that my process works is that I consider a song finished when I have the chords and the lyrics and the melodies and they are locked down 95-98%. And what I do is I will then record a demo and then I will step away from the song. So I will not listen to it and I won't sing it to myself. I'll take some distance. And what this allows me to do is come back to it when I do with fresh ears, and then I can hear, okay, that doesn't quite work, I think that could be done better, that melody needs to be slightly different, maybe I can choose a different word here. I can make those little refinements after taking some distance away from the song. What I also like to do is I like to perform the song at an open mic night, because it's a different thing. Sitting at home on your sofa playing it to yourself is just different compared to standing in front of an audience and singing into a microphone. When I perform a song for the first time, I'm just picking up on the body language of people. I get a sense as to how the song is working or not working, and as well as that, I will pick up on some technical things. So for example, are there too many words in that sentence? Am I able to sing the melody correctly? Am I able to pronounce the words and enunciate correctly? Am I running out of breath? Do I have enough breath between the sentences? Am I able to sing it properly, or do I need to go away and practice it a bit more? All of those things are revealed when I perform a song for the first time. Now, in this particular case, I have not yet performed the song live, but I do want to do that before I go into the studio. So the stage I'm at now is I want to perform it soon, maybe next week or the week after. So I'm coming to the song again afresh, listening to the demo, listening to what I was doing, and I'm hearing some things. Okay, that could be a bit better, that needs to be changed or tightened up. And what I'm going to show you now is, well, I have my guitar with me, so I'm going to sing. I've listened to the demos again, so I'm going to sing you some of the earlier versions, and I'm going to show you how I've made some slight changes to make it better, in my opinion. Now, when it comes to these little refinements, a lot of it is personal opinion. So you might think, actually, that way of doing it was better than the other way. So if you do feel that way, please leave a comment. I'm really interested to hear about other people's opinions, and also your process as well, how you go about writing melodies, writing lyrics, refining them, all that kind of stuff. I'm really interested in how other people do it. Anyway, I'm just going to strum a very basic version of this song because it's about the melody and the lyrics, and I'm going to show you through a couple of different versions, and then also in the context of the whole verse, and I'm going to point out some other things that I do when I'm writing lyrics and melodies, and things that I think about, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. Okay, so version 1. I finally thought of the right thing to say. It's just a shame that it's 2 weeks too late. I really want to speak face to face. Want one more chance to defend my case. So there's a couple of things that I noticed with this first version. The second line is just a shame that it's 2 weeks too late. So the first thing is the word just, which if you've watched my previous videos, you know that I try to avoid that word as much as I can. And funnily enough, I remember reading an interview with John Lennon where he says the same thing. He's like, the word just is a filler word, you need to avoid using it. So that was pretty cool to read that he has the same opinion as me. Anyway, so the word just, I'm not 100% sure about that. How I wasn't sure about how I was singing the melody 2 weeks too. It's just a shame that it's 2 weeks too late. I was doing different versions of that I wasn't quite sure about. And then want one more chance. So want one is a bit awkward. Want one more chance to defend my case. So yeah, wasn't quite happy with that. So version 2. I finally thought of the right thing to say. It is a shame that it's 2 weeks too late. So here I was thinking, actually I changed it to 2 weeks too late. I made sure that I'm going to sing 2 notes there. 2 weeks too late. I really want to speak face to face. Want one more chance to defend my case. And I thought, okay, this having that slight variation gives me the feeling of a little bit of tension. So lines 1 and 3 match quite closely. I finally thought of the right thing to say. I really want to speak face to face. So they match quite closely, especially the endings. The start is slightly different. I finally thought of, I really want to. I find that if you want things to match, it's more important for the ending of each line to match, in my opinion. I find usually, because it's usually the case that the notes that you are singing are longer notes towards the end of the at the end of lines, so it's more noticeable there. If you have a situation where it's the other way around, where there are longer notes at the beginning of the sentence or phrase, then you would want those to match more closely. These are things that, a lot of the things that I'm pointing out happen unconsciously, just from listening to so much music, singing along to so much music, writing songs. Now, whenever I talk about things that happen unconsciously, I don't mean that as a, how do you say it, a get out clause, as it were. Oh, it's unconscious, so just, there's no use trying to learn or improve or practice, all that kind of stuff. For me, it means, look, our brains are these black boxes, and stuff goes in and stuff comes out, and we don't always know exactly the process that's happening inside. But that doesn't mean that you cannot consciously feed it stuff, right? So that's why I think it's important to learn other people's songs and sing along all the time, because that way you're learning all of this stuff unconsciously, and then when you write your own lyrics, then this kind of stuff comes out. Anyway, so what was I saying? So here, the first line and the third line match quite closely, especially at the end. But the lines 2 and 4, I've put this slight variation where it is a shame that it's 2 weeks too late. Want one more chance to defend my case. And I'm consciously choosing defend my case, because that feels like a bit of tension, because I guess your brain is expecting it to be the same, because you have, if the first line has melody A, and then you have melody B, and then you have melody A again, but now it's melody C or B star. It's slightly different. For me, my taste, my interpretation is that is a slight bit of tension. If I was singing it exactly the same both times, it would have slightly less tension. I'll show you. I finally thought of the right thing to say. It is a shame that it's 2 weeks too late. I really want to speak face to face. Want one more chance to defend my case. So for me, doing it that way, it's too repetitive. and so my decision is, okay, I'll have that slight variation. By leaving something out, your brain is always looking for patterns, right? And so when you set up repetitions, your brain is doing an anticipation or anticipating something, and if you don't fulfill that anticipation, then there's this little gap which causes a little bit of, it's a little spike of emotion, I guess. Something's different, a little bit of variation there, a little bit of tension. So I can't remember again, these are things, it's half conscious, half unconscious, but when I explain it, if I sit here and explain it to people, I can articulate it, but while I'm doing it, I'm not 100% sure exactly how conscious of it I was. Other things I am conscious of. So for example, this want one more, I'm still aware of that here, want, because that's awkward for me to sing, want one more, want one, right? So I'm not quite sure about that. And it is a shame. So it was a contraction. It's just a shame became it is a shame. I don't know about that still. So there's version 3. So here I'll show you how it goes. I finally thought of the right thing to say, though it's a shame that it's 2 weeks too late. I really want to speak face to face. I want one more chance to defend my case. So here, it is a shame has become though it's a shame. Now this is really, I can see how some people would say actually it is a shame is better, but this is, I guess, my mouth shape, my throat shape, my tongue, though it's a shame feels a bit better than it is a shame. It is a shame, though it's a shame. That this though it's a shame just feels slightly better to me. And then want one more, want one. That's a bit awkward for me, so I've changed it to I want one. Now, usually I try to avoid starting the lines with the same word or finishing with the same word, unless you can see that it's like a conscious, explicit thing. Here it just comes off a bit random in a way, but at the moment, the way I feel today, I prefer to have this repeat. I really want to speak face to face. I want one more chance. I'd rather choose that than want one more, because that just feels a bit awkward. And I'm also a bit more explicit with this pause here between chance to and defend my case. When it comes to fitting lyrics to a melody, there's 2 extremes. The one extreme is where you are totally loose and it's a free form poetry melody like Jim Morrison or something like that, and the other extreme is Max Martin, who's famous for writing songs for Taylor Swift and Katy Perry and the Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears and basically all those huge pop stars. And he has a concept, it's either, I can't remember if it's called melodic math or music math. Basically he wants to have all the syllables match up to notes and they're all the same. Of course there's variation, melody A, melody B, melody A, melody C, but he has them all matching up, and he doesn't mind if the lyrics end up being nonsensical, because for him melody is the most important thing. So the most famous example is his first big hits, which Baby Hit Me One More Time by Britney Spears, right? Hit me baby one more time. So in his mind it's hit me up one more time, but he's Swedish and he didn't really think about it that way. He just thought hit me baby one more time. To me, I couldn't do that. It's like, okay, that doesn't quite make sense. So I would write hit me up one more time, but then I probably would not get to number 1, right? I would stall out at number 10 with that melody. But for me as an artist, for me as a songwriter, my lyrics are slightly more important than the melody. I do, as you can see, right, I'm happy to refine things, but I I do my very best for the lyrics to make some kind of sense and be grammatical. I try. It's not always the case, but I try my best to have them be grammatical, to make sense. And so I will lean towards the lyrics being slightly more important than the melody sometimes. Now, this influences like things like contractions, it's versus it is, whether or not you sing a melody, a syllable over several notes. So the what I'm talking about here. So whether I go too late versus or defend my case. So two different choices there. But other things that you can do as well are leave a space. So for example, here I'm just being a bit more explicit about I want one more chance to defend my case. So that's kind of a cheat, because that way you can get the melodies aligned a bit better without having to come up with another word or to have the word extended over several notes, because sometimes that can be a bit awkward. There's a famous version which I actually find endearing and I do enjoy it, which is in Paranoid by Black Sabbath, where Ozzy Osbourne sings now at the start. I think it's the start of a line he sings now, and it sounds a bit awkward. But it's funny when somebody else does it, I find it endearing and I like that little quirk that it's awkward. But in my own songs I try to avoid it. So one way to avoid it is to have a little space. So instead of singing I want one more chance to defend my case, I'm going I want one more chance to defend my case. So I leave a little space there. You can also add in interjections. I don't know, is that the right word? Basically things like oh and ah, la, something like that, and those vocalizations, interjections, they can hit a note, they can be part of the melody, but you don't need a word, or you don't need to extend a word over several notes, and that is sometimes useful. And some of my songs I do that, especially at the start of a line, because I go oh ba da da, something like that. So so I'm going to compare the first version with the third version and see which one you like better, because maybe you'll have a different opinion. I finally thought of the right thing to say. It's just a shame that it's 2 weeks too late. I really want to speak face to face. Want one more chance to defend my case. And it's changed to I finally thought of the right thing to say, though it's a shame that it's 2 weeks too late. I really want to speak face to face. I want one more chance to defend my case. Now, I will also show you this in context of the whole verse and point out some more little things that you can possibly use or think about when you're writing a melody or fixing up a melody. So from the start, I finally thought of the right thing to say, though it's a shame that it's 2 weeks too late. I really want to speak face to face. I want one more chance to defend my case. Rerun each conversation, try to escape this maze. Don't matter which direction I choose, I always end up in the same place. I want to move forward, want the past erased, but I'm finding it hard to do, cause I'm always dwelling on my mistakes. So here, you can hear I have this little run. So, let me back up. The first thing that you might notice is that the melodies are becoming a bit more evolved in the second part of this verse. So there's more words, there's more places for the melody to go. I'm singing the words a bit faster, obviously, to fit into the same piece of music. So I like to do that where music develops, where the melodies develop over the course of a song. Usually it will happen from verse 1 to verse 2, and it will be separated by the chorus. In this case, it actually happens within a verse. So the example is that you have these little runs at the end. So rerun each conversation, try to escape this maze. And obviously I'm singing this whole sentence higher. Though no matter which direction I choose, I always end up in the same place. I want to move forward, want the past erased. So those parts are matching. Here I'm repeating a word. So sometimes this is an example of something that I probably, I didn't think about this consciously. It's just when I listened to what the demo that I recorded, I noticed, oh, I'm repeating a word there. And that's just a feeling, a choice. Sometimes it is useful though, because basically you can repeat a word, but then you can sing it to a different note. And again, it's a situation sometimes where, oh, I need, this melody needs to be filled out, and I need an extra word. Can I stick that extra word somewhere in the sentence and shift everything over? If not, maybe I can do a vocalization at the front, like oh, or I, or whoa, or something like that. That is in tune, or repeat a word. Though no matter which direction I choose, I always end up in the same place. It's not even necessary, really. I could also sing, though no matter which direction I choose, I always end up in the same place. But I think that's, singing that again is adding to this feeling where I'm singing more words, more melody happening, and I'm leaving less space compared to earlier in the verse where I might have a little pause, as it were. And then, here's an example of where the word because becomes cause, and people will understand what I'm singing there, but that's a situation where because it might not fit, right? So but I'm finding it hard to do because I'm always dwelling on my mistakes. It could work, but I'm finding it hard to do because I'm always dwelling on my mistakes. But I'm finding it hard to do cause I'm always dwelling on my mistakes. I think without, just cause is slightly better. But yeah, that's just that's the kind of stuff that really gets refined when singing in front of an audience, because you're standing up, singing into a microphone, singing the song without pauses from start to finish, and then you notice where you need to breathe, which words get contracted, which are left as they are, and that's really the kind of refinement that happens when performing the song live. Something else, just like to point out, is that you can hear the shape of the melody where it's up, down, as it were, right? So I finally thought of the right thing to say, though it's a shame that it's 2 weeks too late. I really want to speak face to face. I want one more chance to defend my case. Rerun each conversation, try to escape this maze. Though no matter which direction I choose, I always end up in the same place. I want to move forward, want the past erased, but I'm finding it hard to do cause I'm always dwelling on my mistakes. So what's interesting here is that it's high, low, run down, low, and this one is kind of even, always end up in the same place. Then it goes, I want to move forward, want the past erased. So this is a step down. And then here I go, I'm always dwelling on my mistakes, which is the E there. And that is, in the case of this mini progression, that is the 5. And so that's a lot of tension before I go into the chorus, because the chorus I'm singing on that A. I won't give it away because you'll have to wait till the recording comes out, or come see me at an open mic night, because I will perform it soon. So that's interesting. Again, those are the kinds of things, right? It's a lot of that is unconscious when I first write the melody, when I'm first coming up with the lyrics, first writing the melodies. It's a lot of it is unconscious. But as I said earlier, whenever I talk about unconscious and things just going by feeling, don't use that as a cop out, like, oh, some people can do it, some people can't, because the reason I have certain intuitions is because of all the music I've listened to and I've sang along to, and the songs that I've learned to play and write, and so that's where those decisions come from. And you know, if you've just picked up an instrument, then unless you're some like one in a bazillion genius, then it's very unlikely that you will have those kinds of intuitions. So yeah, you can write songs from the day that you pick up an instrument, obviously, but you will learn a lot from singing along to songs, learning other people's songs, writing songs, performing them in front of people, and then you'll get a lot of these intuitions about how to do things. But a lot of it is taste, because I'm not saying these intuitions are correct or the right way to do it. These are all down to personal taste, and you might disagree. You might disagree with the fact that I'm singing two notes here, late, that's 2 weeks too late, and only one here, defend my case. You might think, okay, it should be late case. That, you know, that could be valid. That doesn't feel right to me, but you know, you might decide differently. You might not like these runs. Escape this maze, past erased. You might not like those runs. You might want to sing because here instead of cause. Those are all ways to do it, but this is the way I've done it, and I'm pretty happy with this version of this verse now. The other parts of the song I thought were fine. I was happy with them. I didn't want to change those. This first verse felt a bit clunky, so I've tightened it up, I think, and I'm pretty happy with it now. And what I've been doing for the past couple of days, is rehearsing it and see if I can perform it maybe this week or the week after, and then I will really get a sense of whether I'm happy with it or not. And then just need to rehearse it over and over so that I know it like the back of my hand, so that when it comes time to recording, that I can just do it, you know, just like that, without hesitation. Anyway, so that's my process of cleaning up, tightening up a melody and lyrics. I'm really interested to hear how you do it. Let me know in the comments, and I'll speak to you guys next time.